What is it about this company that makes you proud to work there? Is it just a job? I'm going to tell you right now, if it's just a job, this might not be the podcast for you. That's probably not the job for you. My name's Jeff Bajorek, and my career in sales has been a hell of a ride. And I want to bring you along with me. And if you prefer to sell things at a premium, if you never want to win a deal on price, rethink the way you sell. Hey, welcome back to the show. My name's Jeff Bajorek. Today's episode starts a short series of episodes where I'm going to ask you one question. I'm going to give you one thing to think about. And I'm going to give you a little color, a little backstory, why it's important for you to think about it. And then what I want you to do is take some time. I want you to take 10 or 15 minutes with each one of these questions. And I want you to journal on them. I want you to answer them. I want you to write about them. And I want you to think while you're writing. This is not about just, dictating to some software and getting an answer out that could be printed on paper. It's not about the answers. It's about the thought process. And these are questions that I ask just about every client before I get started because I think they're that important. These questions were initially brought to me by Jeffrey Gitomer back in the day. And I say back in the day, it's been, since early 2015, so 7 years ago now. When I started my coaching and consulting business, I initially licensed some of Jeffrey's content to get me started. I didn't have any of my own. I knew I needed to start, and I started writing shortly thereafter. But this was a really good jumping off point for me. And quite frankly, this series of questions came from the very first exercise of the very first workshop I ever ran. I call this series of questions, as I've modified them slightly over time, I call them, what is your why? And look, Christy Walters and I asked that question 432 times on our podcast, The Why and the Buy. So it was a really fitting name, and it was co-branded and kind of nice. But you really need to understand why you're doing what you do before you even consider doing it well. And I believe that these next 5 questions that I'm going to ask you over this episode and then the following 4 are necessary in order for you to do your very best work. Take some time, write, think. You'll thank me later. But why don't we get started? The first question that I want to ask you is, why do you believe in your company? Why do you believe in your company? Now, maybe you own your company, which means you better believe in that company because you're staking a lot of things on the reputation and the success of that company. But if you don't, if you don't own it, then why did you choose to work there? What is it about this company that makes you proud to work there? Is it just a job? I'm going to tell you right now, if it's just a job, this might not be the podcast for you. That's probably not the job for you. And this might not be the podcast for you either. But you get to choose. And you should choose a company that you believe in. So why do you believe in the one that you represent right now? Now, let me give you a little direction here. People over the years have answered this in a few different ways, but a common theme tends to rule the day. And that's the company's mission and values. And that mission, those values tend to tie to a larger purpose. And that larger purpose is almost always relatable by the individual's purpose and mission. So if you're missing that, you've got some other bigger decisions to make. But what is the company's purpose? And does it tie to yours? Does the company take care of you? Does the company invest in you? Does the company empower you? Does the company enable you to do your best work? Do they encourage you to pursue your best self professionally? What about your company's customers? Are your company's customers, are your customers, are they better off for working with your company? That's a question I'm going to ask you later. There's a little foreshadowing there. Does the company put the results of its customers first and foremost in its mission? Do they even put that in the mission statement? Those are the directions that I see a lot of people headed in. And so I'm going to steer you that much, but I'm not going to steer you any further than that. So the question, once again, a very simple question that I want you to think about and I'd like you to write about is, why do you believe in the company you work for? In the next several episodes, we're going to cover, why do you believe in the solutions that you sell? We're going to cover, why do you believe in yourself? We're going to cover, why do you believe that your customers are better off for having purchased from you or worked with you? We're also going to ask a question. We're going to tackle a question together. I'm going to ask it. You're going to tackle it. Why do your best customers buy from you? That's a Gitomer influenced question that's not a part of that original exercise. And it's a very, very powerful question, even though it's a bit of a trick question. So there's my foreshadowing for you. Over the next few episodes, that's where we're going. You can work ahead if you want, or you can wait for these episodes to drop, and my individual poking and prodding along these lines will help you get to where you need to go. But I want you to think. And if you can get this foundation underneath you, you can have that clear purpose. You can lean into what you do for a living so you can create the best possible results, not only for your customers, not only for your company, but also for yourself. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you would, please, if you've taken some value from it, tell a friend. Of course, I would like you to subscribe. You want to make sure that you're getting every episode as they drop. But the way this podcast is going to grow is by you being inspired and telling someone else to listen to it. And I'm keeping these episodes short. I'm keeping them actionable. I'm hopefully keeping them inspiring to you and people like you. And I humbly ask that you pass the word along that this project is out there and that you thought it was helpful. If you want, you can follow me on LinkedIn or connect with me there if you'd like, and you'll get a little more color commentary on these episodes as they drop, and that's where the discussion will go on as well. And I hope to see you there interacting, and I do interact there with the comments as they come up, and I really want to hear what you had to think about these things. So thank you for being here. I'm really excited to see how this project is going to unfold. I know I've mentioned this before. I'm just the right amount of scared in terms of how it's all coming together. It's a very ambitious project, but I'm really grateful to have you along with me. You have a ton of choices out there, and you chose me today. So thank you for that, and I'll talk to you soon.